Hi everyone, so today's video we'll be doing another challenge. So it's a new challenge, it's Boogeyman number 1. There'll probably be a number 2 later. Anyway, so let's read what the challenge is all about. So it says, a new threat actor emerged from the wild using the name Boogeyman. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but whatever. Are you afraid of the Boogeyman? Okay, so uncover the secrets of the new emerging threat, the Boogeyman. In this room, you will be tasked to analyze the tactics, techniques, and procedures executed by a threat group, from obtaining initial access until achieving its objectives. Prerequisite. So you should definitely know about how to analyze this phishing, emails, what are the Windows event logs, and some traffic analysis with T-Shark and Wireshark, because that's what we'll be using here. And it says, before we proceed, deploy the attached machine by clicking the Start Machine button. So do it, right? And the machine will start in a split screen view. So it is started already. So there are artifacts for the investigation proper. You will be provided with the following artifacts: copy of the phishing email, PowerShell logs from Julian's workstation, packet capture from the same workstation, and the PowerShell.json file contains JSON formatted PowerShell logs extracted from its original eventx file via the eventx2 JSON tool. You may find these files in the home Ubuntu desktop artifacts directory, and then the tools that are provided with in this VM are the following. So Thunderbird, which is a cross-platform email client; lnkparse 3, which is a Python package for forensics of a binary file with lnk extensions; Wireshark, a GUI-based packet analyzer; T-Shark, which is a CLI-based packet and Wireshark; GQ, a lightweight and flexible command line JSON processor. And we will need, you'll see me using it, knowing how to use grep, sed, awk, base64, depending on how you work. So these command line tools will be really interesting and important. So the first thing that we get is the Boogeyman is here. Julian, a finance employee working for Quick Logistics LLC, received a follow-up email regarding an unpaid invoice from their business partner, B Packaging Inc. Unbeknownst to her, the attached document was malicious and compromised her workstation. So we have the email. We're gonna open it, but let's continue reading first. The security team was able to flag the suspicious execution of the attachment, in addition to the phishing reports received from the other finance department employees, making it seem to be a targeted attack on the finance team. Upon checking the latest trends, the initial TTP used for the malicious attachment is attributed to the new threat group named Boogeyman, known for targeting the logistics sector. You are tasked to analyze and assess the impact of the compromise. Okay, so the first question is, what is the email address used to send the phishing email? So let's open the email. It's in the artifacts folder. We'll open it with, open with Thunderbird and look at it. So we can see right over here the email is agriffin@bpackaging.xyz. So that's it for the first question. But then, second question, what is the email address of the victim? So we can also see it here. It's julian.westcott at hotmail.com. Then what is the name of the third-party mail relay service used by the attacker based on the DKIM signature and list and subscribe headers? So for this, we need to open the headers of the email to be able to read the DKIM signature. So what is the DKIM's first? It stands for Domain Keys Identified Mail, and it's an email authentication method designed to detect forged sender addresses in email, like email spoofing, a technique that is often used in phishing, which we are working with, a phishing email, and email spam. Let's go and look at the headers. View source. And while viewing the source here, we can read the different, like, received from. Here we have every server the email came from to arrive to the destination. And then we have here the DKIM signature. And reading the DKIM signature here, we can see that the other domain that can send emails, that is allowed to send email on behalf of bpackaging.xyz, is this one, elasticemail.com. So here we go. Now, next question is, what is the name of the file inside the encrypted attachment? So let's go back to the email and open the attachment. Download it, save it. Let's save it in the same place as the other artifacts. Now that it's been saved, we can open this and we got its name. This is the name, and voila. Okay, next question, what is the password of the encrypted attachment? For this, we just need to go back to the email, and it's written just here. Like the email says, I just wanted to drop you a quick note to remind you in respect of document what number is due for payment on January 20th, 2023. I would be grateful if you could confirm everything is on track for payment. For additional information, kindly see the attached document. You may use this code to view the encrypted files. And we have it here. So we can copy it. And then the next question says, based on the result of lnkparse tool, what is the encoded payload found in the command line arguments field? So we need first to get the, unzip the file. We already have the password, so copying the password here. So, okay. Sorry, extract it. So, okay, once the extraction is done, what we can do is, using the lnkparse tool, so lnkparse and the name of the file. So the file here is, I think, invoice. Here we go. So once it's parsed, we can read what's the result here. So here we have a few information like Windows shortcut information, arguments, creation timestamp none, and so on and so forth. Then primary name is Windows PowerShell, and then you have a relative path, description, data description, relative path, it goes to PowerShell. Working directory is the C, and there is a command line. This is the command line that is used. So we can copy this command line with the knob and copy and have it on the answer. And here you go. Now that we have this command line, we need to understand what's in it, what's that payload is. So we take this argument and because it's a PowerShell command and it uses the enc switch, which means encode, it's encoded in base 64. So we can copy that and open CyberChef and copy it here from base 64 and remove in null bytes. Okay, here we go. And we get here. So as you can see, it's downloading something from this website. Anyway, so now let's continue with task 3. It says, are you sure that's an invoice? I mean, we saw that it was PowerShell command. Based on the initial findings, we discovered how the malicious attachment compromised Julian's workstation. A PowerShell command was executed. The code in the payload reveals the starting point of endpoint activities. So it gives us an investigation guide. With the following discoveries, we should now proceed with analyzing the PowerShell logs to uncover the potential impact of the attack. Using the previous findings, we can start our analysis by searching the execution of the initial payload in the PowerShell logs. So we know that it was a PowerShell command, so what we are going to use is the PowerShell logs. And since the given data is in JSON format, we can parse it in the command line using the GQ command. Note that some logs are redundant and do not contain any critical information, hence can be ignored. And then it gives us a GQ cheat sheet to be able to process JSON. It says GQ is a lightweight and flexible command line JSON processor. This tool can be used in conjunction with other text processing commands like grep, cat, and so on and so forth. You may use the following table as a guide in parsing the logs in this task. Note, you must be familiar with the existing fields in a single log. And it gives us a bunch of commands. Anyway, let's go directly to the questions. So the questions are, the first one is saying, what are the domains used by the attacker for file hosting and C2? Provide the domains in alphabetical order. We already probably this domain that we found here from the encoding is probably one of them, and there should be a second one. But before that, let's look at what is in the PowerShell log. We are going to use first I like to know what are the different events that are in this file, this PowerShell log. So I'm going to use cat PowerShell.json and using GQ with before using GQ, I need to know what are the existing fields in the log. I'm just gonna do that first, see if we can see something. And it looks like, doesn't look good. So I'm just still using this time, still had, but GQ just to beautify the thing. and have a look at the different fields. So we have the field timestamp, channel, provider, hostname, SID, event ID, record ID, level, description, message number, message total, script text block, script block text, script block ID, and path. So I'm just going to copy one of them to have it under my hands. I mean, not literally. And be able to refer to it every time. Just to refer to the field names. So the first thing I would like to know are what are the events that are in this PowerShell log. So instead of using head, now I'm going to use cat, and the event ID, I'm searching for the event ID field. So this is the here we go. But I just want to know how many there are and what are they. So I'm gonna sort them and put the unique command and count to see how many type of event ID there are. So we can see that there is the 40,961 event ID, 41 just one that has this event ID, the 40,962 event ID, same, there's just one event with this event ID, 4,100, there are 44 events with this event ID, and 4,104, there are 939 events with that ID, and the event ID 53,504, which there are 2 with that event ID. So now that we know what are the event ID, so if we don't know what those event ID means, we can look them up on the internet. So we can, and that's what we are gonna do. So PowerShell event ID and look them up one by one. So there is the 40,961. So it says the message PowerShell console is starting up. That's what is the 40,961 event ID. So let's search for the second one, which was 962. And it just the message is for this one is PowerShell console is ready for user input. Okay, so these aren't the ones that we'll be finding the commands that were executed. Let's look at 4,100, I think. So the 4,100, it's an executing pipeline. It says you cannot, okay, policies, unauthorized access. Okay. Now let's see the 4,104. So for Microsoft Windows PowerShell, here we are not looking at the Windows backup source. We are looking at Microsoft Windows PowerShell source. It says creating script block text and category execute a remote command. That's probably what we are searching for. So like what we're gonna do now, we're searching for this event ID and get everything from there. Now that we know what we are searching for, we are changing. Okay, wait a second. I have to remove this. So we first need to know to have everything like sorted by time, so we know how the events are being, like what's coming first and what's coming after, and be able to have a timeline of everything's happening. So sort by, and now we can put, oh, there's, sorry, okay, sort by. We are using the timestamp field, timestamp. Then there are many fields that will be used. One of them is script block text, and the second one is event ID. Then once this is done, because we only want the events from, like the information from event ID 4104, we are going to use grep, the grep command for that. And let's just have a look. So it's kind of a lot. So if we look at everything here, it's kind of a lot of information going over there. So I'm just gonna put the result in a file. I'm gonna call it event 4104, and then I can open it like this. Yes, I know, I have a preference. So while, like, let's see, the first thing we can see here is the download string, the command that was sent. If we go back to this, we see that this is the command that we find as the first event with the ID 4104. So we have this one, and then we have also, if we in the same domain, the cdn.bpackaging.xyz. So these are the two domains that are asked about. So let's fill that up. And voila. So the second question is, what is the name of the enumeration tool downloaded by the attacker? Okay. So the problem with this, as you can see, is we have a lot of, I mean, not junk, but things that aren't really a part of the everything that is happening. So and the other, what comes from the attack is mostly like this. So what I'm gonna do is using grep again, but this time to remove these messages, like these events. As you can see, they all have version, the word version in it. So I'm just gonna remove all those from event 4104.txt from this file. So I'm going back here, and to remove that, I'm still gonna use grep, and using this time the switch V to remove the pattern. Okay, so let's go back to our file, reload it, and here we go. Like now it's clearer. Like you can see, there isn't that all that junk that we didn't need isn't there here anymore, which is important. So let's read what we can find here. Post. Oh, echo r pwd, who am I, cdc ls by pwd, cd users, cdg.westcoast, and here we have another downloading thing. So download string, and there's something from GitHub, and it's called invoke seatbelt.ps1. Let's go to this GitHub link. So I'm gonna copy this and open it elsewhere. What is... oh, so it's called seatbelt. It's a C# project that performs a number of security-oriented host survey safety checks relevant from both offensive and defensive security perspectives. Okay, so we know the name. We can put it there. Good. Now, next question. What is the file accessed by the attacker using the downloaded sq3.exe binary file? Provide the full file path with escaped backlashes. We are coming back here. And we'll go to, so if we look at this, let's try and find what is, first way is sq3, and here it is. So one of the files that were downloaded from files.bpackaging.xyz are sq3, and when it downloaded it, it put it in the out file sq3.exe. So same name. So we can search for it. Or just read, literally. So here we have, it goes to, this is yep, there is just another one just under. So this is the file that it's accessing, but it doesn't, it's asked for, the question asks for the whole path and not a relative path. Here we are in a relative path. So what we are gonna do is go back before and look with the different CD where we are. So let's start from the beginning. First, we go into the C. So I'm gonna open a tab and write them down one after the other. So we start with the here. Then it goes into users. So users. Then it enters this. After that, let's see where is, oh, it goes into public. After public, it's music. Then after music, where does it go? So is there another CD? Yep. Oh, it goes here, which means if we have two dots, that means we are going back one directory. Then there is the app data. And then, if you remember here, we have the rest. So it starts in app data. So in fact, you have again two other dots here. So we go to other dots. So going back to public, and then you have here the file goes to updata and local until plum SQLite. Oh. So let's just copy it and put it in there. Okay, now this is done. Next question. What is the software that uses the file in question 3? If we look at here, we can see that in appdata local packages it says Microsoft sticky notes and then the rest. So in fact, the software that is using normally this file is Microsoft sticky notes. Next question. What is the name of the extracted file? Let's go back here and let's read more. So there is a file here that is called, and this is the name of the file, and if you in the KDBX, okay, I'm not gonna answer because I'm not gonna say now because it's an answer to another question. So this is the file, and if you look later, like under, we get that the file is sent somewhere, but we'll see that more into depth. So this is the name of the file. Next question. What type of file uses KDBX file extension? So this, you can either search for it on the internet or just know the answer, and the answer is KeePass. It's a password manager. Now, what is the encoding used during the exfiltration attempt of this sensitive file? So let's go back here, and we see that the file is here. Then the variable destination, and we read all the file in 2. Then, and it's in the variable bytes, named bytes. So if we look just after, what we can see is that it's using hexadecimal, in fact. So this is using hexadecimal to, or hex, to exfiltrate the file. So yeah. And now what is the tool used for exfiltration? And we have it just here. So if we look here, you have split equal hex, so the hexadecimal, then the hexadecimal is split into strings of 50 characters, and for each line in split, what is done is ns lookup, and the type of the query is an A query, it's a DNS query, and then line, so that hexadecimal line .bpackaging.xyz to the destination, which is this IP address. So what we can get from here is the IP address, something important. We'll be able to pivot through this IP address. So we also got the 2 domain names, this one, just gonna copy the whole thing, and also this one. So both of these, like all of these information, will be used, these three information will be used when pivoting to the network files, captured files that we got. Next task, it says, network traffic analysis, they got us, call the bank immediately. Based on the PowerShell logs investigation, we have seen the full impact of the attack. The threat actor was able to read and exfiltrate two potentially sensitive files. There is the Plum SQLite, and there is also that KeyPass file, the protected data. Okay, and the domains and ports used for the network activity were discovered, and as you can see, I wrote it down. So here we have the port 8080, and for this one it would be port 80 because it's the HTTP that is being used. If we go back here it's HTTP, which means it's port 80. Investigation guide. Finally, we can complete the investigation by understanding the network traffic caused by the attack. Utilize the domains and ports discovered from the previous task. All commands executed by the attacker and all commands output were logged and stored in the packet capture. Follow the streams of the notable commands discovered from PowerShell logs. Based on the PowerShell logs, we can retrieve the contents of the exfiltrated data by understanding how it was encoded and extracted. So first question, what software is used by the attacker to host its presumed file payload server? So now we'll still be using this log because we didn't go into detail of what has been done, but we're still gonna use it. So I'm gonna open the capture with Wireshark. If we go back to the to here, the events, we know that the attacker, to download the files, he or she or they downloaded the files from here, files.bpackaging.xyz. So we need to find this, where it is. So what we are gonna do, we need to look at the HTTP response. So let's look at HTTP, and let's try to find anything interesting. There's this IP address. Let's just search for this IP address first. But okay. Here we go. So this IP address that we found in the file before gives us as an HTTP response. So I could add in HTTP, for example, to only get the HTTP response. We get here in the header, like the header for the answers, we get this in the header server. We get the information Python, so it's used Python for that. Now next question. What HTTP method is used by the C2 for the output of the commands executed by the attacker? So this can go back here again, and what we can see here is cdnb packaging.xyz. Look at the whole thing. So it's HTTP invoke web basic. There's this header in it. Okay. And invoke web request. Here what we find is method post. So it's sending a post method. But we can go back to Wireshark and look at this. We first need to know what is the IP address of the subdomain cdn.bpackaging.xyz. So for that, we'll look at DNS response name equal, and here we take this. We use this to search for the IP address. So now that we know the IP address, we just take this IP address, copy it, and then using this IP address, destination, let's see what's been sent. So as you can see, there is all this HTTP protocol and here we go. We do find the post methods that are being used to send to this. Good. What is the protocol used during the exfiltration activity? We already talked about it previously using NSLOOKUP. NSLOOKUP, it is a tool to send DNS queries, so the protocol is DNS. Now, what is the password of the exfiltrated file? We know that the file that has, if you go back to this event, what we can look at, let's go back, let's go all the way down. We know that here the file is sent through this, through NSLOOKUPs, but the password for that file, we need to find it. So we can see that SQ3 is doing something with this, because as you can see, select asterisk from note limit 100. But from the whole conversation till now, we know that it's using post data, like post method, to get the answers. Because if you see here, every time there is a command, there is the pwd, which is also there. pwd is a command that allows us to know what is the current path. So as we already know that it's being sent through post requests, so we'll just be doing this and looking at only the post data. So let's take just one of them, any, and as you can see, it's sent here to the host cdn.bpackaging.xyz. We could have also used this to apply as a filter for our search before, but and here we have the form item, which is here. So let's just take this, copy it, copy the value, and put it through here. This has nothing to do here. Using the magic operation. Ooh. And we get, so this, the magic operation in CyberChef attempts to detect various properties of the input data and suggest which operations could help to make more sense to it. So using that, we can see here that the output which makes the most sense is this one. So I'm just gonna put that, and yep, here we go. We have an answer, one of the PWD that we had that was sent. We see it here. So this one is probably the first one, because as you can see, there is it's directory C. And if we go back to the event log, directory C was here. So we want to get all the way down to the right answer, which is the answer to this select, so the response from this select. So it's probably, okay, let's see. If we are here, let's look at the next post to see if we are here or here. We are probably here, maybe. Anyway, let's see at the next post. And where is it? Did I close it? Oh no, I closed it. Anyway, it's okay. I'm just gonna open it back. No, destination. Mm, 205, 40, and http.request. Methods equal post. Okay, we're back there. Here, let's just look at this answer to have an idea. Copy value. Okay, we are in C. So let's go down a few more. It's probably this one. Let's verify this one. Okay. No, maybe it's the one just before or just after.
A few moments later.
It should be this one. Here you go. Copy the value. So, and here we go. As you can see, there is master password, and here it is. So we copy the master password. Now we need to get the extracted file. We know that the extraction have been made through DNS, and they were sent to the IP that we found, so 167. So let's do that. It's a query type. The query type here is a query. So we are searching for queries because DNS lookup will send queries. And we know that the IP destination of the DNS server it's sending them to is 167.71.211 and 113. So we get all of this. It's the part of the file in hexadecimal that were sent. So what we can do is using Wireshark here would be a bit of too much. We're gonna use tshark, which is the command line for it. So first, I'm gonna export this specified packets. So DNS X for exfiltration. So we can now go back here and use tshark. So by using tshark, we can read a DNS like a pcap-ng or pcap file with the switch R. So let's just look here just like that first. So what we need, as you can see here, it's sending them like the same element, the same value is sent 3 times. And to each, they are sent to different, like bpackaging.xyz.u west1 compute internal, bpackaging xyz u west1 and so on, and then also to this one. So let's just take these, the answers that are sent to this this one. So for that, I'm gonna use grep again. So grep minus e. I mean, you don't need to put minus e here, but it's okay. Be packaging with the error xyz, and because it's, if you can see here, it's the end of the line, so we are telling grep that we want only lines that ends with this, so with the xyz domain, and as you can see, that's what it's gonna get back to us. Now the only thing that I need here is this part. I don't need whatever that's before, I don't need what's after. So I'm gonna use cut. Cut is a tool that will cut things and just select some parts, some fields. So here I need to get whatever is before this dot. So I'm taking as a separator the dot. I'm using the dot as a separator. Then the switch F helps me ask for the field that I want to. So I can count here the number of dots: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it's the field before the 8th dot. So I'm gonna put 8 here, which makes mean that we'll get all of this before, because it's between 2 dots. Now that we have it like what's before it, is the space. So what I can do is either, and it's the last field, it's either sometimes the last field is easy to extract because it's always the like the field, like here it's the field 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. It's always the field number 8 here, so it's not a problem. But if the last field isn't always at the same place, so it can be field number 7, then field number 8, then field, what we can do is using the tool rev. So that's what I'm gonna do, and you'll see that rev will reverse the thing. So if you can see, it will be like this. So instead of having this at the end, it turns the whole thing, it reverses it. So I'm reversing it, then using cat again. This time the separator is a space, and taking the first field, and then after that I still have to reverse it back. So reversing it back, and I get all the information. So now that I have this information, I want it into a file, to put it into a file. So package dot package extracted, or file extracted, whatever. Anyway, I'll be opening this file, copying it, put it into CyberChef. Again, this is making a lot of work. And we know here that it's hexadecimal, so we'll do from hex. Now we have this. This is a file that literally we can't read it because it's a key pass file that is password protected. So we can save the file. So it's p.kdbx, whatever, just naming it. Now that the file is done, like I've downloaded it, I'm gonna open it. So it's gonna open a key pass. So we're taking the password that you found earlier, we are putting it there, and we get this. So there's the company card here, and you get the account number and the company card number. Here we go, with the CVV and so on and so forth. And yep, and voila, that was the that was Boogeyman 1. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this challenge. I did enjoy it a lot. I'll be honest with you, I really like blue teaming and forensics and threat hunting and so on and so forth. That's the thing that I prefer, but I still do I do both. I like both words. Anyway, have a good day, have fun, enjoy, and until next time, bye.